Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording Monday, December 8th. Celtics are third seed in the Eastern Conference. They've won 5 games in a row with their victory over the Raptors on Sunday, and they're 15-9 on the season. On a pretty good pace. I don't know what the win pace is for that. I'll look it up. But how you doing, Sam?
The Celtics are the only thing keeping me alive. The Celtics have been awesome. It has been tremendous. We're going to talk about how tremendous they've been. We will talk some Jordan Walsh. We will talk, this 5-game win streak, this 10-2 streak. What has it done for us? What has it done for the ceiling? We'll go through
51
that.
win
We'll go through
pace.
your emails. Yeah, they have been just unbelievable. Like, we'll have stats and stuff. So if you guys like that, stick around. We'll do the emails. We'll go around the NBA, talk about the standings, talk about Ja Morant, and then we'll do the rat list and get out of here. It should be a fun show. Stick around through all of it. We're here every day, so subscribe to the channel. You don't want to miss any of the content.
Yeah, it's funny. You look at Sam's robe and me drinking coffee, you'd think it's like 7 in the morning. It's like 1. It's like 1 p.m.
Yeah, it's just. Well, what is this in Jack time? Like, Jack, you probably
in Jack time.
Yeah, like
I woke up at
during the
12:30.
season. Yeah, during the season, you probably live on like Pacific to Island time, or maybe Alaska time.
I've been pretty normal about my sleep schedule until the last few days, but that's because the last few days have been like the only chance I've had to like catch up on sleep, and so I've taken advantage of it and I've slept. Like I slept the day after the Lakers game when I spent 8 hours in the DC airport. They're like 9 hours. I slept till like what time? I slept till like 1, and then the next day I also slept till 1, and then today I slept till 12:30. So I'm slowly catching up on the sleep a little bit, but I'll be back to normal when I need to be. Anyways, jumping into things here, we're going to talk about Jordan Walsh a little bit because I feel like he's been the story of the Celtics season so far. And Austin Reeves had a quote about him after the Lakers game in which he shut him down, clamped him, dominated, whatever you would like to call it. Jordan Walsh was that guy against the Lakers, and he's been that guy against a lot of these teams the Celtics have played. But Austin Reeves said he just plays hard as crap every single possession. You don't take a possession off. His ability, his length, his athleticism, he's physically gifted, moves really well. I could see him being one of the best defenders in the league for many years to come. He made shots tonight. Good player. So very high praise for Austin Reeves, or from Austin Reeves, who realistically probably an all-NBA candidate at this point. He's been incredible this season. And Jordan Walsh shut him down. I'm looking at the matchup stats right now to see exactly how much he shut him down. In I don't know how many possessions. He guarded him for 427 and held him to 0 of 3, 0 of 2 shooting. Pretty good. Pretty good if you ask me. Austin Reeves didn't score a single field goal against Jordan Walsh. And if you ask me and most people, I would say that's pretty good. He scored 3 points. They were off 3 free throws, and he didn't make a single bucket. So I'll look up some more Jordan Walsh matchup stats, but the whole point of this is just I think when this all started, when he got in the starting lineup, we all thought like, wow, they found a really good role player. And now it's like, oh, is he more than just a really like a solid role player? Could he legitimately be a potential starter when Tatum gets back, or could he be this when Tatum's get back, or what is the ceiling of Jordan Walsh? Because I feel like it's slowly growing and growing as the days go on.
Well, I think his ceiling is really good role player, but really good role player is not like a mean thing. Like Derek White's a really good role player.
But there's a big I know, but there's a window. But is he a really good role player? Like, I don't know.
Maybe one of the best role players is
you know what I'm saying?
Like, if you want to talk about it like that.
Like Derek White and Aaron Gordon are really good role players, but they're like borderline all-star really good role players. And then there's I'm trying to think of an example of Mason Plumlee. Like, he's a solid role player. He's a good role, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a big window there.
Yeah, I think role player, we actually don't use it right. Like, I think people find that as a mean-ish term, or not mean, but you're saying the guy isn't very good.
Just anything that's not a star, realistically.
Yeah, and I tend to look at basketball a little bit more like baseball, where there's actual positions. I don't have names for them, but Derek White is one of the best at his position, and that's not meaning guard. It means dude that can give you good offense and is an elite defender. And Jordan Walsh is kind of knocking on the door of that. He's not near Derek White's level. Derek White went pretty ballistic at the end of the Raptors game from what I saw. I didn't get to watch it in full, but I made sure I caught up on it before the show. And he made big shots, and he's made big shots really all week. Every time the Celtics have been in the clutch, they've been much better in the clutch since he found whatever he was missing earlier in the season. And even when he wasn't doing great, he still made big shots. Like Walsh made the big three at the end of the Magic game. Everyone remembers that. But like 30 seconds before that, Derek White made a three of his own to push the lead to 4. Like Derek has been making big shots all season long. He's somebody that you can trust to make shots and also create them a little bit more now that we've seen. So when you think about Walsh and what his ceiling is, I think it maybe could be that eventually, but I'm so intrigued with his fit as a low, I don't even want to say low usage, but like low, I don't really know what the word is, but he makes the most of like quick touches on offense and does a great job of getting to the right spot to put himself in position to score. Like he's an intelligent player out of the dunker spot. And I think that's like a undervalued thing for somebody of his size who, yes, he shot the 3 ball really well, but him being able to do that makes him effective even if he's not super reliable from 3. Like, remember how Joe Mazzulla used to use Jaden Springer, where Jaden Springer was a really good defender, but could not shoot the ball. And like, I'm such a sucker for players like that. I'm like, oh man, if they develop a shot, like, they could be great. And Springer was good at times in that spot, but for a 6'2", 6'3" guard, it's not really as effective compared to a 6'7" wing with a 7 foot plus wingspan. Walsh is really good at finishing. Him being good out of the dunker spot adds to his role player value, not only because of the scoring aspect, but because he's more in position to get offensive rebounds too, which he's done a great job of. And I think going forward, like when Tatum comes back, yeah, sure, he could be a starter. It depends what you want to do with Pritchard. Like you could move Pritchard back to the bench, make him
that's
6 foot again. And like by that time, maybe you've traded Simons. Maybe this whole thing makes it easier to trade Simons. But I think Walsh is a end of the game player for sure. And then you just kind of pick whichever guard you like best that day.
I have some stats. Okay. Jordan Walsh against James Harden. Guarding James Harden. Harden shot 3 of 7. Guarding Ant, 3 of 7. Donovan Mitchell, 2 of 8. Cade Cunningham, 0 of 6. Tyrese Maxey, 1 of 9. Scotty Barnes, 1 of 3. Franz Wagner, 1 of 4. Austin Reeves, 0 of 3. Jaren Jackson, 0 of 5. Karl-Anthony Towns, 1 of 4. he is a bona fide star stopper. And having that in a lineup for a guy who doesn't have to take on the load offensively is massive, right? Like you just said, like he can be a guy who doesn't need the ball, doesn't need a lot of touches and still succeed. He'll hit down, he'll knock down open threes when he gets it, doesn't need a lot of them, can, make 2 a game out of maybe like if he makes 2 of 5 a game, that's 40%. Like I was listening to a clip from Sam Hauser on the White Noise podcast, and he's like, the way that someone broke it down for me is if you make one of your first 2, or if you make one of your first 3, that's great. Then you just and if you make one of those, you're probably gonna make one of the next 2. And then if you do that, you're shooting for 40%. It's like you break down like that, like that's not bad. If he can do that, pretty good, right? If he can move in the dunker spot, like you're talking about, pretty good. If he can offensive rebound, pretty good. And then if he's doing all of that while also being this crazy menace on the defensive end, you're talking about a guy who, like, I don't mean to, burst the bubble that we're living in. He's probably going to want a payday. Celtics are probably going to have to pay Jordan Walsh. But luckily, he is coming into this so late, and his role is so small that they could probably get away with giving him a Sam Hauser-esque contract, right? And if you get Jordan, if I told you right now, you get Jordan Walsh for the next 4 years doing exactly what he's doing, but you have to pay him $10 million, I think every Celtics fan in existence does it 10 times out of 10. Like, no questions asked, does it a million times, right? And maybe teams around the league will offer him more than that, but I think the ceiling for a guy like him playing a role like him is so niche that maybe teams wouldn't be willing to spend. Then again, you look at the Toumani Kamaras of the world, who just got a $20 million contract. I'm not saying Jordan Walsh is anywhere near Toumani Kamara yet, although it's probably the track he's on. But, we can start talking about that part of things. But regardless, I don't think he's a starter on the Tatum teams. I think you still start Pritchard. I think you still value that extra creation because you get the defensive Tatum to replace it, and you'd rather have the additional, ball handling, etc. But you'll have some lineups where if we can go small, let's throw Jordan Walsh instead of Nemish Queta. If we only need one of the guards, we can throw Jordan Walsh instead of these guys, right? Like you'll have options to close with, and that's without even mentioning Sam Hauser's probably still going to be there. Ugo's probably still going to be there, right? You've got guys like that ready and waiting and capable to play different roles. Jordan Walsh is turning into a unbelievably useful piece of this basketball team and a guy who can play a very important role for the next iteration of the teams fighting for a championship. And hell, who knows what this team even has as its ceiling. So I'm very excited to see what Jordan Walsh can do from here on out. And it's kind of weird to think about just how far it could go with the way he's currently playing.
Yeah, and the contract piece of this is interesting because next year they're fortunate enough to have him on this deal again. Like it'll be year 4, so they don't have to pay him next year. And by the time that they're actually going to have to pay him, hopefully they'll have reset the second apron like 3 out of 5 years. Like let's see. So they won't be over the second apron this year. You have to assume they won't be over the second apron next year. So then they'll have been over the second apron only one of the past 3 years, right? By the time whatever Walsh extension kicks in. At that point, I don't care. You want to spend in the second apron then? I don't care. If your team's good, I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. I think it would be nice to avoid it, but and I'm not saying, just give him a contract that all of a sudden makes him bad, because value does matter. If you're getting this kind of production from Jordan Walsh, he's making $30 million a year, you're just like, well, this is just business as usual, and he's doing what he's supposed to do. But if you can get him on a contract where he's able to consistently outperform the cap slot that he takes up, that's where the real value comes. And I think players like Jordan Walsh, players like Ugo, players like Josh Minot, like those are the type of guys that they kind of feel interchangeable. And the fact that you have all 3 of them on team-friendly deals makes next season very approachable when it comes to maybe adding an extra player to make the team better. And that's where the real value comes, because these guys are like playing with house money, ironically.
Yeah, I mean, I credit Joe Mazzulla and the coaching staff once again. Like they've prepared these players insanely well to build up into this point where they are high impact NBA players. And Jordan Walsh is the best example of that. And they've had him for 2 years before this, but shout out, man. Shout out. Okay. Before we continue, I want to tell you guys about PrizePicks. PrizePicks, the best place to get real money sports action this basketball season, this football season as well. If you are planning to have some fun, make sure to do it on PrizePicks. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. It's the holiday season, the best time of year for sports, bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes, everything happening all at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions like what to eat, what to buy, what to watch, there's one place where it feels good to be right, which is PrizePicks. PrizePicks is super easy to use. You just pick 2 or more player stats, pick the more or the less, and if you get your picks right, you could cash in. It's available in now 45 plus states, including California, Texas, Florida, Georgia, and right here in Massachusetts, where I assume most of you are tuning in from. You can use the stacks feature, which means you can pick up to 3 players in the same lineup, whether you want to take the more on Jaylen Brown, points, rebounds, assists, all 3 of those in the same lineup, or the more on Drake May, passing yards, passing touchdowns, and rushing yards. You can take all of those in the same lineup, and you can mix and match too. If you want some Jaylen Brown picks and you want some Drake May picks, you can put them in the same lineup and play that way on PrizePicks. It puts its users first as well, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. PrizePicks accepts most major payment methods. Making deposits into your account is quick and easy, and withdrawals are easy as well, like I mentioned, so you can get the money in and out. If you do manage to win, download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. But let's move on to I'm just going to ask you the blanket statement, Sam. What is the ceiling of this Celtics team? And we can work backwards from there.
I will return the blanket statement with a blanket answer. The ceiling is higher than we thought it was. That is what we've learned over the last 12 games. The Celtics are 10-2. They have one of the best offenses in the NBA, and that is not just these last 12 games. That's for the entire season. Jaylen Brown is playing at a borderline MVP level. Derek White and Peyton Pritchard are now playing like how we thought they would play. Jordan Walsh, Josh Minot, Baylor Sharman, Ugo are all playing far better than we would have thought that they would have. So is Nemi. So now you look at this team and you're like, whoa, this team might actually be good. And I think one of the telltale signs of this team being really good sounds really obvious. The Celtics have won 5 games in a row. Through these 5 games, they have probably, aside from the first half against New York where they struggled, they have probably trailed for like 5 minutes. Like they have just controlled the scoring in every single one of these games. Grandy had the tweet yesterday during the game, which I did not see until today. And I put out the tweet thinking I was super slick. But they had led for like 162 straight minutes of play. Like it was crazy. They had not trailed throughout the entire stretch. And like, yes, the Lakers didn't have LeBron and Luka. And like I think that's very fair to point out. But like the Knicks were mostly healthy. They didn't have OG. Cleveland was missing Darius Garland, some like bench rotation guys.
Jared
which
Allen.
Is not. I mean, Jared Allen. Got it mixed up. Completely different players. But they didn't have a lot of their rotation guys. Fair enough to point at that. But like Toronto has been a very good team this season. They've struggled without RJ Barrett, who they did not have. But like that's the nature of the regular season in the NBA, where you're just going to play without guys. And like the Celtics played without Jalen against the Wizards, and the Wizards were playing without their guys, and the Wizards suck even with their guys.
And Celtics didn't have Derek and Nemi for the Cavs game too. So like,
yeah, they're missing pieces everywhere. With that being said, they have responded extremely well when things don't go their way. I wrote about it today for Hardwood Houdini. That is one of the telling signs of a good team. Is when you watch the Knicks walk down your 18-point fourth quarter lead and get it to 3, instead of letting them take a lead and run away with the game, you punch back, you get good shots, you get stops, you close the stops with defensive rebounds. I didn't get to watch the end of the Raptors game, but I kind of saw how it played out, and I looked at the play-by-play. When the Raptors got a 3-point lead, the Celtics got good shots. They made tough shots when they had to. They got stops. Nemi had a block like right after Toronto had taken the lead, and they closed out the possessions with defensive rebounds. They are executing with momentum against them at the level of a championship team. And I think the players deserve a lot of credit. I think Joe Mazzulla deserves a lot of credit. I see people in our comment section getting mad because they're blowing leads. I hate a blown lead. I do. I was as miserable as I could have been after game 2 of the conference semifinals last year, when the fire alarms were going off in the Garden and the Celtics had just blown their second 20-point lead in a row. But unfortunately, that's the reality of the NBA, especially with the volume where teams shoot threes now. Like, swings are going to happen. It's kind of inevitable. And from what I saw, the Raptors came back in that game. The Celtics got sped up and got a little sloppy, but they just started making shots. Like, what was it? Abaji made his first 3 of the fucking season. Did I hear that correctly?
Something crazy.
Yeah.
Or no, it was. I don't think Abaji made his first 3 of the season. I know AJ Lawson was playing his first game of the season. So maybe that was it, but there was.
Yeah, I was watching the highlights on YouTube today, and it had the Raptors broadcast, and I could swear that Abaji made a corner 3 in the fourth quarter, and they were like, that's his first 3 of the year.
Maybe.
Or maybe it was his first quarter 3 of the year then. I don't know. Regardless, Toronto got hot. They came back. The Lakers cut the lead to 15 on Friday, and everyone was like, whoa. And like, I was like a little nervous, but like, that wasn't even, they didn't even half the lead. Like, they
to
were
back
down
your point,
29.
I just pulled up the game chart of last night's games. Every game from last night. That's all. That's all this is. I didn't cherry pick. This is just every game that was played last night. This is the game chart for the Celtics game, right? You can see the lead. This is the game chart for the Magic game. You see the giant swings everywhere, all throughout the game. It's a wave. Here's the Hornets Nuggets game. Giant swings, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Oh, Hornets have the lead, Nuggets have the lead. Oh, it's down to 3 again. Oh, it's all the way back up to 10 again. Oh, it's down to 3. Like, here's the Grizzlies Blazers game. Grizzlies had a 25-point lead mid-third quarter. It's down to 4, right? Like, this is just every game. This is the Warriors Bulls game that they won by 33. They had a 24-point lead and they got cut down to 7 or 8 early in the fourth, right? This is the Lakers Philly game. Philly was up by 10 in the first quarter, 10 in the second quarter, then got all the way up to a Lakers 10-point lead, and then it was tied at the end of the game. The only exception is the Thunder, who just kill everyone they play. But like that's just how the league works. For context, like, this is not a Celtics thing. This is high volume of threes. Teams are really good at shot making thing. So I'll let you continue. I just wanted to back your point.
No, it's good. I'm trying to look at and think of Man, the Celtics just really haven't lost a lot of games lately. There's a loss, or maybe it ended up being a win specifically that I remember. Like they were down a bunch of points and they fought all the way back, and they just couldn't quite get past. Like
Was it the Knicks game early in the season?
maybe,
were down by
yeah,
they were down by like
maybe it was
25,
that.
and then they fought all the way back and had a chance. But that
Yeah,
was like the second
maybe
game of
that's
the year.
the one I'm thinking of. That's a good point. But like they've been on the other end of that. Is my point here? Is like, you know, sometimes you have a lead and it just doesn't stay, and that's as long as you walk away with the win, you can be upset about the things that led the lead to collapse, and you can learn from them. But you can't be too mad because they still won the game. And people are scarred. I'm scarred from the playoffs. The playoffs were awful. That was a terrible way to go out. And you can look back on it and be like, wow, they should have won those games. They should have won them. But from what we were seeing is they've learned from this. They're getting better from this. And they're doing it without Tatum. They're doing it without Drew Holiday. They're doing it with Porzingis, who they just kind of didn't have anyway. These young guys are able to stay in the fight, show championship DNA, especially the ones that were here for it. And I think it's really telling for what this season could be. Like with the way the Eastern Conference is right now, we'll go through the standings and stuff later. But like Nick NBA keeps saying it every time he's on the show. Like you don't look at any of these teams and have like fear put through you. Like it's like, yeah, they could probably they've beaten everybody in the top 6 except for Miami. They've beaten all of them.
They just haven't played Miami.
Yeah, they haven't played
them.
It's doable.
I'm making an official statement. I said 45 all season. 48. 45 was too low. 45 was too low win total. I'm amending to 48. 45 was and always will be my original guess, so we can fall back on it. But based on current trends, I was gonna do. If they were 9-15, I'd adjust. Right? If they were 6-18, I'd adjust. They are 15-9. They are the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference. They have, I don't want to say bully balled, but they've played every team in the East pretty fucking well. 48 wins. That is now what I think the Celtics can do this season based on current trends. That is where I think they'll end up. 45, like I said, was the OG, and we'll fall back if we need to, but they played better than 45. They played significantly better than 45 wins. It's been a long enough sample size of them playing really good basketball for me to believe that they will finish better than 45 wins. I think this team has a genuine chance to win the Eastern Conference if Tatum never touches the court. Like I think they're that good. And I'm not saying they will. I'm not saying they're going to be the favorites. I think they'll be underdogs in most playoff series they play. This team plays like the teams that good teams hate to play, if that makes sense. This is the nightmare matchup for anybody any of these East teams will want to see in the playoffs. If the Knicks want to see anybody in the playoffs, they want to see the Cavs. They want to see they want to see the Sixers. They want to see the Hawks. They want to see the Raptors. They want to see one of these teams that plays traditional basketball, maybe like, oh, we finally did it. Like the Raptors, we finally made the playoffs. Like this is so good. And then they'll be caught resting on their laurels. Or the Cavs who are like, oh, this is fine. Well, we'll get through the first couple rounds. The Celtics and Joe Mazzulla play with an edge that is similar to the Isaiah Thomas series. Like they don't give a fuck. They know they're playing with house money. They have a bunch of guys playing for next contracts who are playing to prove that they belong in the NBA, and they are not going to take possessions off. They're not going to, rest. They're not going to, they're going to pick up full court every possession in the playoffs, like they do in the regular season. You think that's going to stop when they get to the playoffs? This Celtics team is going to be a pain in the ass for anybody they play in the postseason. And I think it's going to catch some teams off guard because you look at what happened to the Celtics last season. They're just trying to get back to the finals. The Knicks are probably just going to be trying to get back to the Eastern Conference Finals. They're just going to try to, float their way there. A lot of these teams, like the Pistons are the team you look at as the opposite of that, as the antithesis. Although they could even get caught in the 1 seed Cavs debacle where it's like, oh, we're the 1 seed, we're the big bad wolf. And then they're just like, oh shit. Like we actually have to, fight against some of these like 8 seeds. But I just think the Celtics are built to play playoff spoiler in a way that we haven't seen from a Celtics team in a long time. And I know they've played some injured teams. I know we just went over into LeBron to Luka. They, the Magic didn't have Powell the last time they played. The Raptors didn't have Barrett, who leads their offense. I don't care, because even when teams have been healthy, they've played them fucking close, and they've come a long way from the start of the season when they were losing those close games, and now they're winning those close games. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I'm very high on the Celtics team. I think they have a real chance to win the East. Like I said, I don't think they'll be favored. But you look at, like you said, Nick's been saying it, I said it, Pistons, Knicks, Raptors, Magic, Heat, Sixers, Cavs. None of those teams I look at and say the Celtics have no chance. Not one. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm like sneaky getting roped into this, like where I'm like, they're back. Like, and we haven't
But it's
even really
nice because the
talked about-
expectations aren't really there. It's just like
No,
we're getting to
yeah, they're
enjoy
not.
it right now.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, no, I completely agree.
It's
Like,
a fun story.
I think our YouTube views, I think everyone that does this, their YouTube views, like will tell you like people are feeling this. Like there's been so much excitement throughout this 5-game winning streak and like the last 12 games really, where like people are getting connected. They're feeling connected to this team. They're feeling like this team is an easy team to get behind. And like they believe in this team. Like we did so much talking about this current 10-game stretch, which is now 12 games because of the Pistons and the Bucks games getting added. But we were like, this is going to tell us a lot about this team. It was like the gauntlet for them to go through. The only game they've lost is the first game of the back-to-back to Minnesota. That was it. What else do you want from them? Like, I thought this was going to be the death of the season. I said it when we were talking about it. I was like, if the Celtics win, if we walk away watching the Celtics beat the Knicks and Lakers, I'll be happy with 2-8. I don't even care. Yet they've gone through and like, yeah, win. It's been crazy. And maybe that NBA Cup loss to the Nets did something to them. Maybe that win over the Pistons did something for them where like, it really the Pistons win in particular really felt like a turning point. Like there was some energy in the building. There was a buy-in from the players. The Pistons were on a win streak. The game itself had so much juice to it. And the Celtics rose to the occasion. They won the game. They won a clutch game. They took care of business. And the fans responded to that. And they gave them like they gave it back to them in a sense. Like they paid it forward. And I think that instilled belief into this group a little bit more than we've seen. Now, I know Jalen has really talked a lot about this being a work in progress. And, you know, as the games go on, they're going to get better. It was the message he had for all of us at training camp. It was literally like, hey, look, don't get too wrapped up in what you see early. Like, there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of new pieces. He reiterated that after the Friday win over the Lakers. And I think there's real, like, meaning behind that. And I feel like going forward, like, we may see even more reason to buy into this team. Like, maybe it's going to continue to get better as they continue to figure out who they are.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they were going to be good. I don't think I thought they were going to be this good. Like, I watched this team, and I see a team that can win in the playoffs. Like, I just see a team that has a real chance to do something cool. And that excites me. And I'm excited to watch. Like, I've said this a million times. I've had more fun watching this team than I've had fun, you know, than I've had watching the regular season the last 2 years.
Isn't that weird?
5 years. This is the most fun I've had watching a regular season Celtics team since Isaiah Thomas.
Can we talk about that for a minute?
Sure.
Isn't being a fan weird? Like, we're professionals now, but like, I think we still care. Like, I think if you like didn't care, you wouldn't feel that way, right? Like, I know you don't like hang on every win and loss. Like, it's not that for you.
I don't even care if they win, really. Like, it doesn't matter to me if they win or lose. It's just the way they're playing and the uncertainty of what's going to happen is just so much more fun to watch unfold because, like, the last 2 years, last 3 years, even however many seasons you want to call it, it's like, oh, Jason Tatum scored this, Jaylen Brown scored this. This is super cool. They're winning this. Like, look at how awesome this is. And again, like, nothing will ever come close to getting to experience and cover them winning a championship like that. I don't think anything ever will. But getting to watch holy shit, Nemish Keita is really good. Holy shit, Jordan Walsh is really good. Look at Ugo go. That's so cool. Look at Josh Minot and Luka Garza play impactful stretches of basketball. Look at, Taylor Shireman step up. Like watching all of these storylines unfold when you didn't expect them to is just so much more fun from a coverage and just
I think from
widespread
a consumption
entertainment standpoint.
too.
From what?
Like consuming it. Pretty much.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like a widespread entertainment standpoint, like this has to be so much more fun to watch. And I think it goes back to what we always say, like expectations kind of ruin fun to a degree because it's every
No, they
win is
do.
just every win's a relief and every loss is a disappointment. But now it's every win is, oh my God, they did it again. And every loss is, damn, like that's a tough one. You just got to move on to the next. And I think that's a much more fun headspace to live in for fans.
And I'll never be upset that they did what they did to win the championship. And like, this isn't like a martyr type thing. But I think when you have a team like this one that like you grow to believe in organically rather than like mercenaries that are just brought in to like kill other teams, it is just so much more enjoyable from a personality standpoint. And the players on the last 2 years, the squad was a likable group too, right? Like, I don't think there was anybody that you're just like, oh, this guy's an asshole. Like, I don't want to root for him. Like, no, that wasn't the case. But when a team makes you believe in them, there's something special about that. And I'm happy that this is how the season turned out because it always had potential to be this. I mean, we talked about it in the summer. We mentioned the Isaiah Thomas teams when all these deals were going on. And we were like, well, when you don't expect anything and you get something great, it's just that much sweeter. And that's what this is. If you win a championship like this, it's unbelievable. I don't know if we should all expect that. I don't really think the vibe changes if Tatum comes back. I think everything is just free money at this point. But yeah, I think having like being devoid of the expectations just makes this all the more special. I'm gonna go fill my water. I'm listening as you do the emails.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to watch. It's fun to cover, and I just think it's always a different brand of entertainment. But yes, emails. A reminder as always, you guys can email us at hbtcpod@gmail.com. That is hbtcpod@gmail.com. We have 4 today, I believe, from various people, and I'll pull them up right here. RJ says, "What is the Celtics' upside this season?" Well, ironically, we were just talking about this, RJ. Evening, folks. The Celtics have established they are not a tank team, but how good can they be this year? Well, a lot of talk is focused on the C's winning close games as they write this Sunday before Raptors. They're 5-5 in games decided by 6 points or less, which is what we should expect from as close games are often coin flips games. The more important to that is how are you doing in the games that aren't close? As great teams should be kicking opponents to the curb with high frequency, and crappy teams look like trash that's getting kicked. In the championship season, Boston went 51-7 in large margin games, 13-11 in coin flip games. Last year, the split was 47-11 in large games and 14-10 in the close ones. The ratio between the two groups was the same: 58 large games to 24 close games, approximately 2.42 to 1. So far, that ratio is 13 large to 10 close, only 1.3 to 1. So I'd say above average, but not tracking towards a 61 season. Those numbers hold true for the rest of the year. Boston should come in around 50 wins. Be well, RJ, who is enjoying the heck out of this team. Hey, I just said it, RJ. I think 48 wins the new number for me, and we'll see if I go up from there. But these are some very interesting stats. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think the close games thing is an interesting angle here because traditionally, like I used to get mad when they would lose a close game, and I still do, because you hate to see a win become a loss. But like if you had a team that was winning every close game, but they were in like a lot of close games, like that doesn't say as much about how good of a team they are because they're not able to keep their opponents at a distance. Like close games are close games, meaning the littlest thing can change a win to a loss to a win. It can be a bounce, it can be a bad call. Like there are so many different things that go into a basketball game through the entire 48 minutes, not just clutch time, that when you win a close game, it's great, but whatever your process was not up to standard. And I'm sure Joe Mazzulla would tell you something similar to this. So being able, I mean, you don't want to lose every close game, but being able to distance yourself, like as RJ lays out, they just didn't have to play a lot of close games in these seasons. And the Celtics have done a good job at, I mean, they've played almost half of their games as close games, so I guess it's not exactly what you want to this point. But that just tells you the team's a little worse. Good for them for executing. But I think maybe we'll see more and more of the large as we saw over the week here.
I agree. I think these numbers are going to pump up, but thank you, RJ. Next one, RJ says again, what a difference leadership makes. Evening, folks. Time for old Uncle RJ to tell you a story of the before times. Back to a time when Larry Bird first joined the Celtics and his teammates that inaugural season, including Dave Cowens, 32.7 minutes per game, Cedric Maxwell, 34.3. Excuse me, Tiny Archibald, 35.8, Don Chaney, 8.7, Chris Ford, 29.0, Rick Roby, 23.4, and Jeff Judkins, 10.4. And together they won 61 games. I mentioned those 7 players because they were all on the previous year's teams. The one that won a horrendous 29-53. The easy answer to the turnaround is, well, Larry made them better, but that would also be an incomplete answer. In the previous year, the Celtics owner meddled tremendously against the wishes of GM Red Auerbach, and the coaches were Tom Sanders, a quiet man who thought people would hold themselves towards professional standards, Morgan Freeman voice, they didn't, and Dave Cowens, who was inserted mostly to probably not have a new coach suck more of the competitive fire out of Cowens. In the offseason, the Celtics brought on Bill Fitch, who demanded a commitment to hard practices and harder defense. I mention this because the current season could have very easily become a tank job, many predicted from the start, but Brad brought in good guys to replace older guys. Joe Mazzulla has coached them in the ways of Celtics traditions, playing right and playing hard, and Jaylen Brown, along with Derek White and Peyton Pritchard, has stepped up to lead by example. The result is that the Celtics aren't just waiting around for JT to return its former glories. Together, they are building a foundation for the team to be even better. Where are the next championship Celtics? To borrow from Sam Reich on Game Changer, they've been here all along. Be well, RJ, who highly recommends Game Changer and the other fine comedy shows from Dropout TV. When you take a break from watching Celtics, I love Game Changer. I've seen a bunch of clips. I've watched a couple episodes. Big fan, RJ. Thank you, RJ.
I've not seen it. Can you explain it to me?
Explain Game Changer. That's actually
sounds like
a lot harder. It's no, not really. It's like a game show, but I'll give you an example. So one of the recent bits they did was a year before he gave them a quest to do something. Like I think it was, maybe I might be mixing up 2 different bits. He gave them like a year to get the most craziest thing they can from like Facebook Marketplace or something. A year. He gave them a year as a time, and then a year later they came back and ran the bit. And it was just, it's just like a comedy mixed with game show that's very funny, and it's really hard to explain because it's completely random and they change it every show. But I recommend it. It's entertaining. It's very funny. So go watch if you haven't yet.
I think RJ makes a good point about the way this roster was put together. I mean, Brad continues to just bring in good dudes. Like, I think that's the kind of vibe you get from everybody on this team. I think Jack would know more than me just because he's like in the locker room more and is at the practices more than I am. But it seems like everybody that's on the roster is a pretty good guy. And the fact that Brad found the right younger guys to replace the older departed cap casualties with says a lot about his vision as a GM and his ability to put together just sustainable winning basketball for the Celtics, even if it doesn't necessarily result in the championship this year. This has been a great team to watch through 24 games.
Yeah, Brad and Joe have done a phenomenal job. Credit to them. Walker Kessler email from John Williams. Hey guys, saw a video from another Celtics podcast. Have you heard this before? Brad's going to make a trade for Walker Kessler. Thoughts on this, or is it BS? If this is just an idea, as in like, should they do it? Yeah, no, this is not real. This isn't a real thing. Could they trade for Walker Kessler? Sure. Just deal with him being injured for the year, then have him next year. But they'd all the only problem is he's in a contract year, so they'd have to worry about paying him. I like Walker Kessler a lot. I think he'd fit in well, but again, like I said, you'd have to give him some money. And maybe that's not as much because of it, but it's not a real trade rumor. It could just be a trade idea.
Yeah, and just to build on that, Walker Kessler would be like a long-term thing, which is fine. Like, you want, if you're the Celtics, you have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown for a while. But a lot of the buzz about a big guy has been, oh, this team is really good. And if you give them a Zubac or a Nick Claxton, you're like, whoa, this team could be even better. And that the short-term boost is what really would make giving up draft capital worth it. and maybe you can get away with getting Kessler for less. Like maybe you don't have to give up multiple firsts. I doubt it. And if that's the case, it's not really worth it to get him versus the other guys if it costs about the same price, in my opinion.
The upside about Kessler is it would help long term, and it would get you under the apron this year pretty easily because he makes no money this year, and then you'd have to pay him starting next year. But then you could figure that there. So there is reasons for both. And if he's already hurt this year, you could probably get away with paying a cheaper price than you would for a Zubats. And he's younger, so like I understand, but it would definitely help to have a guy who could help win this season. But anyways, thank you, John. But yeah, not a real rumor, but not a bad idea. Last one from Jack's question. How do you guys, or hey guys, why do you think the Celtics blow almost all 20-point leads even in the fourth quarter? I think it's just because every coach in the league is telling their team when they're down by 20 that the Celtics blow every lead and giving their players way more confidence than they should have. I think this year the leads are blown pretty much because of all the worst players in the team's rotations become Michael Jordan. One player may have the defense, one player may have the clutchness, the other may have the scoring ability, or they all could have all three. I just think leads are blown every day in the NBA. I don't think it's a Celtics thing for what it's worth. I think for as much as the Celtics do blow leads like the Raptors game, they also blow them out to 40 points like the Wizards game. And they, hold on to 15+ point leads like the Lakers games. It's just leads are more likely to be blown nowadays because of the way scoring works and because of how talented players are. And I think you see that across the league.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you kind of answer your own question where it's like the other team's players get going. Like as annoying as it is that somebody that you don't expect to light you up does light you up, that's the nature of the NBA. These guys wouldn't be there if they couldn't play. So there's always a chance of that happening. And when it happens, runs happen in basketball. That's what the game is. So when you're able to hold it off, I think that's the thing that you should be feeling good about. And it's not a Missoula thing. Like, it's not his fault. It's just the NBA.
Yeah, it just happens. That's just kind of the league. But thank y'all for the emails. Again, hbtcpod@gmail.com if you want to send us those. Let's move on to the NBA section. Check out the standings here. We can see how teams across the league are doing right now. I'll pull it up on the screen. The Pistons still sit atop the Eastern Conference with the Knicks right behind them. The Celtics right there behind them in the 3-seed. Raptors, Magic, Heat rounding out the top 6. Sixers, Cavs, Hawks, Bucks occupying the play-in right now. The Bulls tied in terms of games back with the Bucks in 10th place. Then you got the Hornets, Nets, Pacers, Wizards rounding out the bottom. The Nets, who are rapidly catching the Hornets, which is kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, and for those that love to watch the standings, you have the luxury of Tuesday night, Knicks, Raptors, Magic, Heat. So it almost feels like you just can't lose. Like somebody around you is going to lose. It is the NBA Cup, by the way. Aura, if nothing else. But the 2-seed Raptors, the 2-seed Knicks playing the 4-seed Raptors is good for those of you that are doing the December standings watch for the Celtics. But the point differential is the real thing here, which is why we like to use the ESPN one, which I never do when it's me running the mothership here. I always forget. I just use NBA.com. But the Celtics have really climbed the ladder in terms of point differential. They are now the second best in the conference, only behind New York. Yeah. So I'd be on the lookout for more Celtics climbing. The fact that they're only 2.5 games behind, a game and a half behind the Knicks in second place after the 0-3 start they had says a lot about like the parity in the East, but also like the Celtics just current surge. Like they are a scary team that nobody wants to see. As we look towards the bottom, the Bulls, whatever happened there, they just suck.
They're bad. They're just not very good. They're just not good.
You're going to see more and more separation from like the bottom half and the top half here as Giannis continues to sit for Milwaukee and the Bulls continue to just be bad. So Tank FC is officially dead. These teams at the bottom of the East are bad. Celtics will see Milwaukee on Thursday, being hopefully a nice little like refresher for them. Granted, you can't take it for granted, but you have to come out and compete. But hopefully, it's another win to go in the win column. These teams just suck, man.
I said it, man. The Celtics were never going to be bad enough to tank with these teams. Like this just never was going to happen with Jalen, Derek, and Pritchard on the roster. They were always going to be better than at least 3 to 5 teams in the East. I think we went over the teams, and I was like, yeah, these teams. And you were like, yeah. And I was like, I'm telling you, man, they are not as bad as these basketball teams. These teams are bad. And we've kind of learned that. But Western Conference, Thunder are still insane. They're 23-1. Insane. They won 15 in a row. Lakers, Nuggets, 5.5 games behind them, but in the 2 and 3 seeds, tied at 17-6, and you got the Rockets right behind them. Spurs in 5th, Timberwolves in 6th. Those are the top 6 pretty handedly. 2-game lead, Timberwolves to Suns who are in 7th. Suns, Warriors, Grizzlies, Blazers rounding out the play, and then you got the Mavs who have fought all the way back to play in contention. To give them credit, they've won, I think, 4 of their last 5 with Ryan Nembhard leading the charge of point guard. So that's a fun story. Jazz, Kings, Clippers, Pelicans still bad, but yeah, look at the Grizzlies and the Mavs, man. They've climbed their way out of hell, and they're actually competitive basketball teams now. So that's fun to see.
Yeah, the Mavs in particular, like Cooper Flag's been playing a lot better too. I've seen stats going around to him. I guess they moved him out of the guard position and now just having to play forward.
Ryan Nembhard is playing point guard instead of him. Yeah,
Nembhard. Everybody should have just drafted him. I mean, you had the name. You know what you're getting. It seems like he's just doing the same things as his brother, which I mean, good for the family, good for him. These mediocre to bad West teams, let's not even say bad. Let's say the mediocre West teams are so interesting because it feels like there's real room for shifting here. Like Portland has been knocking at the door of being competitive for like the last year. Dallas with their draft picks has made it, or like with Cooper Flag has made it so like they're believable as a competitive team too. So they're kind of like biting at the heels, not really because there's a distance, but like if the Warriors have a prolonged stretch of bad basketball, it's not unfathomable because like their guys just keep missing games that a team like Portland, who hasn't played well, as you pointed out, but like Dallas maybe is able to climb out of the depths and actually get in the play-in. Maybe they could be competitive.
Yeah, man. Shout out the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have been really good. Cedric Howard's been incredible. Jalen Wells playing well. Cam Spencer's good. Both the Spencers. Pat Spencer's been insane for the Warriors. I don't know if you've seen him. So the Spencers are on the up. Pat Spencer's a dog. He was waving goodbye to the Cavs crowd after he made a free throw to seal the game. That was sick. That was so cool. It was so fun, man. Pat
Getting
Spencer, by the
by
way,
a guy that's wearing 61 is crazy.
Pat Spencer, by the way, who was like the best collegiate lacrosse player ever, or one of the best collegiate lacrosse players ever, decided he wanted to play basketball, played 1 season of D1 basketball, went undrafted, and is now just like dogging NBA teams as a starter. Hilarious. Ridiculous story. Like what an insane. He stopped playing lacrosse, said, no, I want to hoop. Played 1 year at Northwestern D1, and then just went to the NBA. Yeah,
that's kind of
different
annoying.
levels. It's different levels of athleticism, man. What are we doing?
That's upsetting. This is why I hate like all non-Celtic white guys.
Oh man. Anyways, Heat are interested supposedly in Ja Morant. That's the latest rumor. Mark Stein put it out. A little tidbit. He said Miami was already shaping into a surprising buyer on this trade market even before this week's Giannis headlines. League sources say that the Heat, for example, have had internal discussions about Memphis's Ja Morant and how Miami's infrastructure could benefit him. So nothing like, oh, they've made offers, they're really interested, but like, could we help change Ja? Could we change him? It's like, you see a boy that a million girls have broke up with. No, I can change him. I promise I can change him. The Heat want to change Ja Morant. Can we change him? And you know what? If there was any team that could, it would be the Heat. So I'll say that.
A little bit of Heat culture. What would they? All right. Let's talk about it. Ja Morant. Good player or not?
Yeah. Yes, good player. I think good player.
Ja Morant. Go ahead. You got it. Basketball Reference. In the last 3 seasons, 9 games, 50 games, 12 games of, what is it? Roughly like half the games this season, let's say. Doesn't really play a lot. He's a small guard who relies on athleticism to make him his best self. He's dealt with a fair share of injuries. I just don't know if I'm any team, how much I'm willing to give up for him right now, especially with like attitude problems. And I know like that was part of the report and that's part of what you said. I just don't like, do you really believe he has like the drive to want to get in better shape? He's putting up horrible. He's been horrible this year. Shooting 36% from the field and 17% from three. It's
Yeah,
egregious.
it gets hard, I guess, with Miami because they're actually really in a bind because unless you can trade the Rozier contract, that's just dead money and you can't really move stuff around. So maybe it is a little bit too hard, but I do think at his core, he is a very talented player. And I think if you put him next to the length of Jaime Jaquez and Bam Adebayo and Khalil Ware, like you can find success there with him at the one. I'd rather have Ja Morant than LaMelo or Trae Young. Like, if we're looking at in that context, I'd rather have him. But
I think I would
it
too.
is tricky.
I mean,
It
those
is
guys
tricky.
are just losers. At least Ja's won in the playoffs. Like,
Well,
LaMelo is a player to me that I just.
Trey's one of the playoffs.
That's true. Yeah, they had a nice playoff run. That's fair. But like LaMelo is such a funny player to me. He has such a big fan base, and I don't get it.
It's just because of the way he came up. Like he was just very like social media, like which is fine. Like that's not a knock on him. Like he was just very famous from very young age, and people have just followed him throughout his whole career.
You know what's funny about LaMelo is I actually feel like I hear like good things about him as a guy.
Yeah,
Despite,
I've
like,
seen those reports.
Like you mentioned, like he's been famous forever. Like it's kind of surprising that he seems like he's actually a decent dude. But I just don't get like he's been terrible this year too. And it's almost like the Hornets beat the Raptors on Friday, and I don't know if LaMelo got hurt or they just yanked him, but he only played 11 minutes in that game.
Mm-hmm. I think he got hurt. Ankle. At least I see ankle injury on basketball.
He's another one. He gets hurt all the time too.
Yeah. I mean, listen, those three, there were all those reports. Did you see Ja post the Instagram story? Like they could get traded for each other, and Ja posted like, "What's up, gang?" And he posted a picture of all three of them, which is hilarious. Like there was a report, like those are the type of guys that no one wanted. They could end up getting traded for each other. And then Ja like posted a picture of them at the All-Star game. Like, what's up, y'all? Like, it's gonna be all right. Don't let like just all three of them like making fun of it. But I don't know, man. It's just so weird. Like, I think all of them could be like they're all very talented players. Like they could be good in the right situations. It's just it has to be such a specific situation, and those types of players are so difficult to game plan for. And I think Ja is the least difficult because I do think at his core he can and should be a good defender because of his athleticism. LaMelo could be a good defender because of his size, but he the whole effort thing. Trey's too small and he doesn't care. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. It's difficult. But
I remember Corrales was talking about like just the way the trades could happen this year, and like there's so many different players that are reportedly on the block, but like nobody would ever want. Like nobody wants the Anthony Davis contract. These three guys are like I feel like very high risk trade targets at the very least. Like the NBA should get these teams to like kind of all agree to do like a lottery, and it's just like either it's a random draw that you just get player X sent to your team, or it's a lottery where you can pick one of them. Like there has to be a solution to this because with the new CBA, there's just so many bad contracts now. It's going to make it impossible for like we talk about OKC and like how rich they are in terms of assets, but there are just so many other teams that aren't going to be able to dig themselves out of a hole because they're paying like players that aren't winning players at their core, so, like a large amount of the cap space.
it's hard. It gets hard. All right. Rat list, Sam, what do you got?
Rat list is I was driving yesterday and I was reminded of like the worst kind of people. I think like of all the Christmas things, my least favorite thing is the elf feet out the trunk. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? Like the people that they buy the elf feet like as if like they slammed half of the elf's body in the trunk as they closed it.
I don't know that I've ever seen it, but I can imagine what you're talking about. Yes.
Like it's them and the people that put like the antlers on the car. It's like, all right, dude.
I see. I suppose I can tell my tale of the airports. So my flight from DC to Boston was at 9:45. And I probably should have just taken the 12:30 because I could have gotten there a little later, but I wanted to get home, maybe nap a little bit, just be home. I wanted to just be home.
I don't blame you.
Right?
That's the right way to go
So,
about it.
I was on for context, I was on the 9:45, and Noah and Bobby Manning, who also went to DC, were on the 12:30. So I wake up, I see that my flight was delayed from 9:45 to like 11:30, like maybe noon, but it said still be there at the airport in case we can find an extra plane. So I was like, you know what? Fine. I'll do that, even though I think that's bullshit. I don't think you're finding another plane. But I stayed, I loitered in my hotel for an extra 30 minutes, then I got to the airport at like 8:30, right? Still enough time to get there in case it takes off normally, but also not ridiculously before the flight where I'd be too upset, right? That's still like what, 3 hours before the flight, which is a lot, but I was there for both, which was fine. I get there, I loiter, I go check it, I check out what's happening at the gate. I see that it's now 12:30. I'm like, okay, fuck. And I go back and I get some Dunkin' and I sit down. Time slowly trickles on, and at a certain point, Bobby and Noah get to the airport too, and they were like, "Didn't think I'd see you," and I said, "Didn't think you'd see me either." So they get there. Flight goes from 12:30 to 1:30, and I'm like, "Fuck, this sucks." And
Did their flight get delayed?
Their flight got delayed a little bit, so mine went from 12:30 to 1 actually, and theirs went from 12:30 to like 1:30. So theirs was delayed an hour, and so at this point, our flights are leaving at the same time, basically, right? Keep in mind, extra context to remember throughout the story. There's also a 1:40 from DC to Boston. There's a 3:30 from DC to Boston. There's a 4:30 from DC to Boston. There's a 6:30 from DC to Boston. There are flights from DC to Boston all day, like every 2 hours, all day. So we get there. My flight has now been delayed. What is this? 4 hours? It is like 1:45, 2 p.m. My flight has been delayed 4 hours. That's a bad delay. That's a brutal delay.
Oh yeah.
After 3 hours, you're allowed to just cancel your flight, get your money back, and move on. And you book another flight. You can just get your money back for nothing. But I needed to be home, so I'm not going to cancel my flight. I just needed to be home that day.
Now,
And
was every Boston DC flight delayed? Like, or was this just
No.
a you thing? Like,
So,
you happen
I'm getting
to
there.
have you happen to have a plane
Yeah.
that didn't arrive yet.
So we get to the point where my flight and Noah and Bobby's flight was going to leave at the same time around 1:32. And it was snowing in DC that morning. That's the context. That's some extra context here. Right. So some of the flights are a little bit tough to land.
By the way, they're not as prepared. Like, once you get down the coast, like, they get snow, they don't know what to do with it.
It's tough. DC's still in like a middle area where they kind of know, but they had like stuff to put in the plane, so they were prepared. But gate agent gets on the line, like the radio announcer to the gate. Hey guys, so flight 645, which is ours. That's my flight, 645. 645. We're trying to figure out why, but they diverted to JFK, so that flight's not here. And we're like, oh, so our plane, which was supposed to go from I think like Tampa to where we were, maybe Fort Lauderdale to Florida to where we were, diverted to JFK for mechanical issues. So not weather, mechanical issues.
So it went further.
So it went to JFK. I no idea why. Maybe because it didn't have the correct stuff to land through the clouds, that because it was so snowy or cloudy, whatever. Doesn't matter at that point. So like, we're gonna check and see if we can do a tel swap so you guys can get on the 12:30 flight or whatever number was Noah's flight, and then they'll get on your flight later because we don't want to push you guys any further. So there's a chance that maybe I'll get on the flight that Noah and Bobby were supposed to get on, and they'll take our flight just so like because we've already been so delayed.
You would have loved
Right.
that.
Would have been great. I think deserved. I should have gotten on.
You would have loved to stare down Noah as you walked on the jetway.
So spoiler alert, as you can tell by the rat list here, that did not happen. They got on the flight. Yeah, that was denied. Sorry. And we're like, okay. And they go, you can go to customer service and talk to them about what the next steps are. So a whole line of us, all the people on 645, which is our flight at 9:45, like that's the flight number 654, I think it was. Line up. No customer service agents there. They're just not there yet. They take like 10, 15 minutes just to walk over to the customer service desk. So I eventually rock up. I'm like, hey, I'm the 654. Help. Like, please. Like, what do I do here? I need to go home. Right. And at that point, context, our flight gets delayed again till 3:30. So we're already like, it's going to push towards 3:30 because as they explained to me, they had to go get another plane from Syracuse to fly to JFK from Syracuse to then pick up those people who got diverted to JFK to then fly to DC. So they got a different plane because they couldn't fix the mechanical issues with the plane that I was supposed to take. And at that point, there is on the board my flight 3:30, which ping, spoiler alert, delayed till 4:30. Great. Delayed till 4:30. There's a flight at 4:55, which is like a standard scheduled flight that was delayed a little bit, but like a standard flight. And there was a slightly delayed 3:30, which was delayed till 4:03. So I get there. I'm like, okay, can you lay me my options out? They said, yes, you can fly standby on any of these flights, as well as keeping your ticket on 654 if that leaves, right? And I'm like, hey, great. There are 2 standby seats left on the 4 o'clock departure. There are 23 standby on the 4:55. And so I'm doing the math in my head. I'm like, okay, if I don't get one of those standbys and then my flight gets even more delayed, I'm cooked. If I just take one of the almost guaranteed standbys on the 4:55, worst case I leave by 4:55, that's fine. I'm like, I'll do that. That's okay. I can do that. I can do the 4:55. I'll take one of those standbys. I was second on the standby line for that. Like I would have been second of 3, but I just didn't want to risk getting bumped off that flight, right? So
Yeah.
I kept my flight time for 4:30, and I took the 4:55. I'm like, worst case, that'll be that. I take that, walk away. 4:30 flight, which is my original flight, delayed till 5:09 or 5:05. I'm like, fuck. 4:55 flight delayed till 5:09. Fuck. Okay, so I'm definitely just leaving at 5 now. 6 original flight delayed till 5:30. Fuck. Okay. I guess I'll fly standby. By the time I got on the plane, I got around. Got 5 guys. I walked to a different fucking terminal to get 5 guys and get dinner, and I walked back and I ate. By the time I got on the plane, it was 5:30. By the time I got on, and this was the standby flight, and I left 10, 15 minutes before my original flight. And so I got on the plane at 15, 5:30. We didn't take off till 6. And I didn't land in Boston till 7:20, 7:15. And I didn't get to the garden until like 7:30, 7:35.
Pretty
And
impressive that you got there that quickly.
Yeah. My Uber, and I would have gotten there sooner if my Uber driver didn't get lost on his way to the airport. So, I mean, just a disaster day in DC. Horrendous. I went into the trip. I was like, JetBlue rocks. And I stand by that. JetBlue, great flights, like no turbulence taking off. Very nice. I like the seats. Holy shit, they couldn't have made more of a mess. And I come to find out, so I was making friends with some other people on my flight, and I was like talking to them. Apparently, our original flight got delayed. The first delay before the JFK debacle, where they had to get a plane from Syracuse, was because that plane had mechanical issues and had to divert from going, like they got delayed going from Puerto Rico to Florida originally. And so they had to change plane, and so they had mechanical issues there, and so it was delayed. And then they kept the plane with mechanical issues, and then the mechanical issues happened again on their way to DC, so they had to land at JFK. Let's take the first red flag as a sign, guys. JetBlue. Let's get rid of that fucking plane with mechanical issues and not just hope it. Disaster, just a mess. And so I was my 9:45 flight in the morning that was supposed to get me home early with plenty of time to nap and shower and everything before the game against the Lakers that night, which honestly, luckily that LeBron and Luka didn't play, because I would have been even more upset if I had to miss that big of a game. It did not take off and get in the air until 6 p.m. So
I said this to Jack when he showed up. He could have drove home faster. He
could have drove
woke
home
up
faster.
even with the initial delay. Like you woke up early and then you went back to bed or whatever you did. You could have gotten a car and drove to Boston faster than it took you to fly because of all the delays. That is awful.
Yeah.
So bad. I felt so horrible for Jack. Like even with the guys out, like just seeing the uniforms matters to me. I can't imagine how upset I would have been, and it hurts because Noah and Bobby just managed to just get on and go ahead.
That made me more mad than I think most things that day.
Because I didn't know that they were at risk too. Like I talked to Bobby a little bit at the Garden because he showed up, and I was like, oh, like, you know, how was the trip or whatever? He's like, man, sucks for Jack. I was like, why? And he was explaining a little bit to me, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize you guys were all on separate flights. Like I just assumed that either he didn't go or Well, I know I knew he went because he was on our show for the brief because he was sitting next to you. Horrible. Obvious rat list is I'm sick. I like to be sick usually, but kind of over it. I've been like mildly sick, like annoyingly sick for like the last couple days. I'm okay. Like I feel physically okay. I'm just tired because I played basketball yesterday. So I had a league game, first league game. We lost. Uh, but then like I didn't play a lot in the second half because I subbed out. We don't have like nobody's in charge. So I didn't want to tell somebody to sub out for me because our team played well in the second half. Like we were down 13 at halftime.
Yeah.
We came back. I was out there for a lot of the comeback. We played good defense and stuff. And then they continue to play good when I go to the bench, and we just didn't want to disrupt it. But in reality, I probably should have went back in. I would have been fresher. I'm longer than the person I would have subbed in for, and we probably would have won the game, or at least been.
You lost.
We lost. So I'm not really tired. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go play at my usual runs in Johnston. Jack's been at them.
Mm-hmm.
We're shooting for teams, and there are 3 teams because we have 15 people. One of the teams, so in the order of shooting, it's first make is a good team, second make is an awful team, third make is a good team, very good team, even. I am in line, and I'm aware of the second team being bad, and the second team is bad, but somebody that I like despise playing with on the team, and I don't think you know them, so I won't even really get into it. So I miss on purpose, like as it's like my turn through the line because I kept getting in position to be on this team. Then it's down to the last 2. It's me and this guy that I don't like. His brother is the other person. The brother is intentionally missing free throws.
Why?
And it's like obvious because he doesn't want to play on this bad team. Mostly because his brother's on it. His brother is he takes like a lot of shots and doesn't play defense, and it's just annoying.
I see.
And like he's like airballing, like it's obvious that he's missing. Like I knew I was dialed in and was going to shoot the shit out the ball in our run because I was missing on purpose, but I was missing on purpose like by hitting the side, like or like the back rim. Like I was targeting my misses on purpose. Anyways, I miss on purpose. I end up on the good team, and I'm playing crazy. And they just keep like they're like, oh man, like you're making a lot of threes. You couldn't make a free throw. It's like you brought him. You brought the brother. Why?
Mm-hmm.
You play with him. I'm not playing with him. I can't stand him. You play with the guy. He's your guy. I wanted you guys to get to play together, man.
Yeah, that's a mess. It's funny when you said I played a league game. I heard League of Legends in my head.
League of
I was
Legends,
really confused.
Yeah, no, I blew off the show yesterday to play some video games.
I was like, what? I also have a rec game tonight. It's my second of the season. We got killed in our first one. Did I tell us the story of the first one yet? On here? I don't think so.
I don't know if you told that in here because we talked a little bit about it.
I'm on a team with Noah and some of her, I guess, family, and her friends. Like it's her dad's on the team, her brother's on the team, her brother's 2 friends are on the team, and then some people she played with in college and high school are on the team, and I'm on the team. And her brother-in-law's on the team. So or soon to be brother-in-law. So I'm on the team. Last week, Noah's dad, who played pro overseas for like a decade, Noah's brother, who like is pretty good, played in high school, and Noah's brother's friend, who is also really good, all not there. And this is like those 3 guys score like 80 to 90% of our points usually. Like, right? Like on a normal day, they would score 80 to 90% of our points. So we're going into the game with no scoring option, no first, second, or third scoring option. It goes to Noah's brother's other friend, who had an okay game. He's pretty good. He actually played really well. But we start the game, and the other team starts the game, like no exaggeration, maybe 10 of 12 from 3. Like we're down like 35-6 to start the game. Like there was nothing we could do. They were just making every single shot. We switch to a 3-2 zone. We disrupt them. They're not good at driving. We come like we win from there on out, but we still lose by like 20 or 30, right? Like we still could not win the game, but we played really well from there on out. So that was frustrating, but we have our second game tonight, and I think we're going to have more bodies. But the other atlas I want to mention. So yesterday, are you familiar with Spot Hero? It's like you pay for a parking spot.
Yes.
I use Spot Hero whenever I go see Michaela because she's in Brighton and I'm in Southie, and I'll get a spot by her. I'll stay over and it's fine. I leave my house yesterday. Michaela's going to Japan, so I stopped at CVS. I got her like some snacks for the flight. It was nice, right? I go to sit in my car. I was going to put the snacks in a little bag. I was going to find my Spot Hero spot. Immediately, I hear honking. I'm like, what's going on? Some guy is sitting in the middle of traffic waiting for my spot. I'm like, dude, like, what the fuck are we doing? So I leave. I'm like, whatever, fine. You can take the spot. I'll be the answer here.
Can you
And
explain Spy Hero for people that don't know?
Spot Hero is when you can put in a time slot, put in an area, and it'll give you parking spots around the city to pay for parking in. And not even like garages, but like people will rent out spots in their apartment building, etc. And so I'll find my stuff there. So I was gonna do that. I was gonna sit in the car. I was gonna find my Spot Hero spot and go. But I left and I called Mikhail. I'm like, hey, can you find me a Spot Hero spot? Like, this dude's being annoying. Like I had to leave because I was disrupting the flow of traffic because this guy really wanted my spot. And again, there would have been other spots elsewhere in South. He just really wanted that one. So I was annoyed. I was like, what the fuck, dude? So I drive. Go ahead.
I was just say these are my trials every time I go to the games.
Yeah, I know. Except I was the guy who was sitting in his car and the other dude was waiting. But it's my car. Just go somewhere else. Sorry. I have that spot right now. Deal with it. That's my thought. Or don't like like if I'm waiting for a spot and someone's sitting in their car, I will wait. But don't wait in the middle of the road, you fucking idiot. Like find somewhere to the side or don't wait there. That's the rule. Sorry. I call Michaela. I'm like, hey, can you find me a spot? There is no spots by her apartment. None. Zero. It's like a 15-minute walk is the closest one. I'm like, fuck. Can you find one by a T stop that is close to your guy? Like, she lives right by a T stop. So she found one like 2 T stops up. It's fine, right? I put in the address. I'm driving there. On my way there, I'm about to go through a light. Car in front of me driving abnormally slowly. Lights turning yellow. I can see it happening. I'm like, I'm not doing this right now. I tailgate them. I get through the light. Obnoxious. Like, have some awareness.
I love when people drive like they want to hit the light.
It's really pissing me off. I tailgate them. I get through the light. They're still driving like an asshole. They turn like 2 streets later. They probably didn't know where they were turning. Piss me off. Figure it out. Be better. They turn. I speed past them out of anger, as you do. And so I'm chilling. I'm going my normal speed. Out of nowhere, in my headlights, I see figures running across the road. Just people running across the road to their Uber in the middle. It is like 6:30 at this point. It is pitch black out. Cannot see anything. Slam on the brakes. Skid to a stop. It is 2 women walking across the street to their Uber in the pitch black. Could not see them. I'm about to go again. 2 more of them run across the road behind them. I'm like, okay, almost just killed people. This is crazy. You can't do that. You can't just like, you can't walk across the road like that in front of a car. Whatever. They get to the Uber. I keep driving. I'm in a state. I'm pissed off. I'm already mad. Weaving through the back roads of Brighton, they get very annoying. They're very weird traffic patterns. I go to turn onto the street. Bike is coming towards me, and I slam on the brakes again. Pissed off. Angry. I'm still mad. Turn, finally park. Crazy parking spot. It's like very tight. I do like a 9-point turn to turn around and get in the spot and back in. Whatever. I then have to do the jog of shame to the T to catch it in time because I was so pissed off. The next one was for 15 minutes, and I'm annoyed. Get on the train. I don't know how familiar you are with the T and with how things work, but a lot of people don't pay on the T, which I've done before. It's whatever. It is what it is. Some T drivers won't open the back doors of the train because they want everyone to walk by them, so they have to pay. Which
I see.
Whatever. So they do that. I go to get off the train, but they don't open the back doors. So I have to walk all the way to the front of the train, interrupt all of the people getting onto the train just to get off. I have to like walk through the funnel of people coming onto the train, push my way through everybody, and then stop the people getting on so I can get off the train. Just open the back door. Why are you saving the city money? Who fucking cares?
Yeah, really.
Oh my God. And maybe it's because like their boss is like, hey, your T is losing a lot of money, but like, holy shit, like, let me get off the train, dude. Like what the so that made me pretty angry. And then I finally walked to whatever, got food. I was fine, but I was in an angry state that day.
They just put you through all the trials that day. Everything. from top to bottom. You've had a rough week. Transit, just bad.
Maybe that's why I'm sleeping until 12:30.
Yeah, I was gonna say, no wonder you're sleeping all day. I would too. Speaking of, I had a dream yesterday that I had like invested $400 in like a stock, and I opened my app to look at it, and like as I was opening the app, like the stock was going up like crazy. Like I made like $20,000 on my $400 investment. Like that's how crazy it went up. And in my dream, I knew that I was dreaming, and I was sleeping in my dream, and I kept waking up in my dream to check to see if the thing was real, and it was real. So then when I actually woke up today, you can assume how bummed I was.
Yeah, that's tough. Dreaming about dreaming is probably not fun.
I was just like, damn, man, I even tried to avoid this. I did everything I could do.
Yeah. No, that's brutal.
Then
That's all I got. I don't think yeah.
Kayla and I were coming back from we went to a show on Saturday, and we were driving through Federal Hill, and your Uber story made me think, or not your Uber story, but like the people running across the street to get in the Uber made me think of this. There's a lift in front of us, I think, waiting for this guy. Wow, this guy's just in a fist fight, like in the middle of the street. Like he's like drunk, getting punched in the face, like fighting somebody. Insane scene. Like I actually wasn't that mad to like have to stop and wait because I was like, all right, like we'll watch. But it was not what I foresaw for myself when I was driving home. Also, can you please do the outro?
That's insane.
Today?
Yeah, I'll do the outro. Thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate y'all very much. I'll take it over. Make sure to leave a like here, subscribe. You can find us here every single day. Videos every day of the week, including full pods on Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, and the game recaps after every single game. You can follow us on social media at How About Them C's, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. You can follow me on Twitter and on YouTube at Jackson NBA and TikTok and Instagram and whatever. You can follow Sam on Twitter at Sam France NBA. That's it for us.
Check.